Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well this week. Really cold outside today. I heard it's going to get even worse this weekend, so hope everybody's able to stay warm this weekend. So hope everyone's doing well. Hope everybody enjoyed earlier this week, and then the talk last week about International Holocaust Remembrance Day, and then yesterday being the official day. So I hope everybody was able to kind of take a look at the information that was sent out, just to be able to look at it a little bit. I hope everybody was able to light a candle, as was mentioned in the video and in the information. So yeah, it's a very, very important day to remember, and I'm glad we got to celebrate it. So, well, here we are at the end of January, and as we get into February on Monday of next week, Black History Month is going to be beginning all the month of February. So we're going to be doing a lot of different things during Black History Month. I've got a lot of great things to show you, a lot of great factoids, a lot of ways we can celebrate, kind of a lot of different things that we can do. But in anticipation of our month-long celebration of Black History Month, I wanted to go ahead and do a couple of little tidbits for you before to kind of get us ready for next week as we kind of kick off that month. So what I came up with is a couple of things that I find very, very fascinating about Black history. A little tip, you know me, I'm the history buff. So a couple of things that you may not know that I thought were really, really interesting that I thought I'd share today. So, well, first off, the celebration of Black History Month actually began as Black History Week, which was created in 1926 by a gentleman named Carter Woodson. He was a noted African-American historian, scholar, educator, and publisher. And actually, it didn't become a month-long celebration until 1976. Now, I know a lot of you have probably wondered, as I've wondered myself, why was February chosen specifically for Black History Month? And the reason it was chosen is the month of February was chosen to coincide with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln, who were both born in the month of February, who were two of the leading causes of slavery being abolished in the United States. So in honor of those two individuals, that is why February is chosen for Black History Month. Really, really interesting, I thought. So. A little bit of local flair that I thought was quite interesting. So a lot of us have heard of the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. It was actually created in 1909, and the reason is it was actually its creation was spurred by growing racial violence in the early 20th century. But particularly, it was the 1908 race riots right here in Springfield, Illinois, very close to us. A group of African-American leaders joined together to form a new permanent civil rights organization, which became the NAACP on February 12, 1909. And that specific date was chosen because it was the centennial anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln. So 100 years after Lincoln was born, the NAACP was born here in Springfield, Illinois, where Lincoln is from. So again, really, really fascinating information. So a couple other things that I thought were just little fun facts for you. So does anybody have an idea of who was the first Black billionaire? Not millionaire, but billionaire. So I remember when I saw this quiz, my first thought was Oprah was the first person I thought of. Oprah was not the first. Then I thought, okay, maybe athletics, and I thought, okay, Michael Jordan. Nope, I was wrong. Both Oprah and Michael are part of the Billionaires Club. But it's actually Robert Johnson. He became the first African-American billionaire when he sold the cable station he founded, Black Entertainment Television, also known as BET, in 2001. So Robert Johnson was actually the first Black billionaire. So again, being a big football fan, I love college football. It's one of my favorite things in the world, and one of my something that I admire greatly, and I've always loved reading more about him, is Ernie Davis. Ernie Davis was actually the first African-American football star to win the Heisman Trophy. And he played in the late 50s and early 60s, and at a time when universities very rarely offered financial assistance to Black athletes, Ernie Davis was actually offered more than 50 scholarships in the late 1950s. That's how good he was. Very, very, very few African-American athletes ever got any financial assistance, and over 50 universities offered him a full football scholarship. Again, and being the first African-American to win the Heisman Trophy in 1961. If you've seen the movie The Express, it was made about 10 years ago. If you need a good football movie, I highly recommend The Express. It tells the whole story of Ernie Davis, what he went through, the prejudice and the segregation he went through. Just a remarkable individual, so I highly recommend that movie. What I think is even more interesting about Ernie Davis, again, he ended up going to Syracuse. And the reason he chose Syracuse, of all those 50 offers, he chose Syracuse, was because he was going to he was a running back. He was the one who followed Jim Brown. Jim Brown is arguably the most famous and successful and the greatest college football player of all time. So he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame. But Jim Brown was the running back, and then when he graduated and went to the NFL, Ernie Davis became the next football star at Syracuse and won the Heisman Trophy. So great story about him. Who doesn't love cookies? We all love cookies, in some way, shape, or form. So, again, when I was growing up, my mom always bought Famous Amos. That was just a staple in my house. We always had Famous Amos cookies around. The gentleman who founded Famous Amos was a gentleman named Wally Amos. He was famous for his, chocolate chip cookies, but he was also, what I thought was really interesting, that he was a talent agent at the William Morris Agency, where he worked with the Supremes, Simon and Garfunkel, and a bunch of other really famous acts. So he was famous for his cookies, but he was also, an amazing talent agent that he worked with the Supremes, Simon and Garfunkel, some of the best music we've ever made. So again, really interesting to see how somebody could be, two really fascinating things. So, and the last little factoid that I'll give you for today, there'll be plenty more, I promise. But going back to kind of music, James Brown. Everybody knows James Brown, the Godfather. Everybody knows him. So, but did you know that he performed in front of a live television audience in Boston the next day after Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated? So, the very next night after Dr. King was assassinated, James Brown performed on a television audience. And he is given credit for actually preventing a ton of further riots with his performance. His performance was so good that so many different police outfits in the whole country credit him for helping stop any further violence that could have erupted after Dr. King was assassinated. So again, James Brown, a true legend. So. Well, again, just kind of a few little tidbits for you to end your week. Again, there'll be plenty of more things that we're going to be talking about and discussing throughout Black History Month, but I want to kind of give us, get started on the right foot, get started kind of thinking about it, reflecting on it, and getting ready for it. So finally, in the email that I sent you, there's a link for you to look at. It's actually taken from the NAACP's website about several different things that you can do to either celebrate Black History Month, to honor Black History Month, or to participate in some of the activities. So if you click on that link, it'll give you a good list of about 25 to 30 different things that you can do in anticipation for February. So hope everyone's doing well. Can't wait to talk more about this topic and many topics to come. So I will talk to everybody soon.